Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Wednesday, March the 7th. Welcome to our video commentary. Well, we had a big primary here in Dallas, in Texas. And it's interesting because we really had two elections. And that's what's fascinating about this. You had the early vote, and then you had election day. Now, on the early vote, the Democrats did fairly well. They got 460,000 votes versus 420 for Republicans. Now, that was not in the whole state. That was in like the top 15 counties. But I mean, it was obviously a good representation of the state population. And based on those early numbers, there was a lot of talk in some of the media that there was going to be this big Democrat wave. Then came election day, and everything was reversed. The Republicans had a huge day, a huge turnout from the Republicans. So at the end of the night, the totals were like 1.6 versus 1.2, something like that, or maybe less than 1.2. But there was a big difference, obviously, once those votes were counted. And I think that what we saw was in many ways the difficulties that the Democrats have in Texas. And the Democrats simply have not been able to figure out how to get elected across the state. They can win districts. And in fact, in one of the reasons that their vote was so high in these primaries is because they had a lot of very divisive and competitive races in some of the state rep positions, for example, some of the Dallas County positions, those kinds of positions. But they didn't really do very well in the two biggest races, which will be the two big ones that will top the ticket, the governor and the U.S. senator. Governor Abbott is running for re-election, and he got 1.3 million votes in a completely uncontested primary. The Democrats had a very contested primary, and they got like 700,000 votes altogether. So there you have a situation where Governor Abbott walks into re-election already with a huge margin, and you know what will happen in November? The Republican vote is going to be even bigger. So I project that Governor Abbott, unless something very dramatic happens, will win re-election anywhere from 55 to 60, maybe even higher percentage of the vote. It's almost the same story for Senator Cruz. He didn't have any competition either. He got 1.3 million votes or something like that. The Democrat primary for the U.S. Senate had like 700,000, 800,000 votes. The man who was nominated by the Democrats, Beto O'Rourke, got 600,000 votes. So there again, you have a very similar situation where Senator Cruz is very well positioned right after the primaries to run in November. And I expect him to win. The last time he got 57% of the vote, I expect him to get at least that, perhaps 60. And in both of these cases, the Democrats, at least for the Senate, the Democrats have nominated somebody way to the left. I mean, Beto O'Rourke is not in the mainstream. And for the governor, we don't know what's going to happen with that. That still has to go to a runoff. But there you have a lady, Lupe Valdez, who is extremely liberal. I mean, this is a very liberal lady, running against a gentleman by the name of White, who I don't know very well. I understand he's the son of former Governor White. And he, from what I understand, may be more of a centrist. So, but either way, you have the two top races that you will see in November. The two top races on the ballot are going to be great attractions, if you will, for a huge Republican turnout. So, all this talk about Texas changing, I didn't see any of that in this election. Now, there will be some districts, no question about it. There will be some districts that the Democrats will pick up, and they will strengthen their base, their electoral base in, the Houston area, the Dallas area, the San Antonio area. And yes, there will be Democrats who will do well in November. But they're going to do well in areas that they were expected to win, not necessarily any turnover. I mean, I don't really see any turnover as far as any statewide election. I don't see any there. And especially now that Bush is also going to be running, George P. Bush, who is the son of Jeb Bush, nephew of President Bush, and grandson, of course, of the other President Bush. And he's going to be a big attraction as well as far as getting turnout. So anyway, the long and short story of the Texas primary is the much anticipated Democrat blue wave didn't happen. There's a joke out there going around saying that the Democrat hurricane never hit land. It did hit land, but it was nowhere the Category 5 that we were told it was. It was more like a maybe Category 1, not the hurricane that I think many Democrats had been anticipating. And again, the problem in Texas is that the Democrat Party has gone too far to the left. So it's very difficult for them to win elections outside of certain districts. That's just the bottom line with the Democrats here in Texas. Well, anyway, it was a good night for Governor Abbott, I'll tell you that right now. He's got to be sitting very pretty after this election. Have a great day, everybody. We have all of these commentaries over at YouTube. We have them on Twitter, and we also have them on my blog. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.